Hello, grade 10 students. I hope you're doing great. So I'll be solving the worksheet that you have to practice well for your QP on Tuesday. So in this worksheet, Akid, we're talking about hormonal communication, which is allowed by our endocrine system that consists of glands. Okay? هلا, a gland, we have many glands in our body. It's an organ that produces and secretes substances. Okay? Like hormones to regulate body functions. There are three types of glands. في عنا endocrine glands, عنا exocrine glands, endocrine glands, and we also have the mixed glands. They differ in their functioning. خلينا نبلش exocrine glands. So exocrine glands, they are connected to ducts, to special pathways in which they release chemicals like مثلا salivary glands. They release saliva into special ducts inside the mouth. Endocrine glands, which we will talk about in a few. هدول هن الموضوع يعني درسنا. Endocrine glands, they release hormones when into the blood. فأنا بهمني إنه هن they release hormones into the bloodstream. مثل الثايرويد مثلا. وإن كيس a gland كان في عندها mixed functions، يعني كانت endocrine و exocrine at the same time، مثل البنكرياس releases hormones into the blood، بس كمان releases digestive juices into the small intestine using special pathways. بنقول البنكرياس mixed gland لأنه عنده mixed functions. Okay, we agreed that endocrine glands release hormones. What's a hormone? It is a chemical. It's أول شيء released by endocrine glands when into the blood, and it acts on specific target organs. على هدول الأورجانز في عندي specific receptors. Okay? So there are receptors on these organs. With the effect of a hormone أو the intensity of the response، مش the hormone is released ولازم يصير في response من التارجت organ. هيدا التارجت organ الريسبونس اللي إلها الانتنسيتي قوتها depends on two factors. أول factor هو the amount of hormones released، وكمان the number of receptors that this target organ has for this hormone. Okay? So hormones are released by endocrine glands. هيدول الendocrine glands build our endocrine system. طيب, what are some examples؟ أخذناهم بصف hypothalamus، البيتويتاري gland يلي هي الماستر gland، في عنا الثايرويد gland حكينا عنها كتير، عنا الادرينال glands that are located on the top of our kidneys. We have the pancreas. We also have the testicles and the ovaries. Let's start with question number one. عم بيقول لي question number one hormones are chemicals released by the body glands into the blood. This is a false statement. It's not 100% accurate. ليه؟ لأنه not by all the body glands. مثلا exocrine glands لا, they do not release hormones. We have to add the word endocrine. So بتصير الجملة hormones are chemicals released by the endocrine body glands into the blood. The hypothalamus releases gonadotrophin releasing hormone to stimulate the pituitary gland. This is true. Okay, this is a true statement لأنه الhypothalamus it's located ب our brain. It sends GnRH، بتبعت لها الهرمون يلي اسمه GnRH للبيتويتاري gland. يعني البيتويتاري gland هي التارجت organ for this hormone. Under the effect of this hormone, the pituitary gland will react by releasing the gonadotrophin hormone. Okay, hormones, which are the LH and the FSH. The intensity of the response depends on two factors, the concentration of the hormone and the number of the specific receptors on the target organ. This is also a correct statement لأنه intensity of the response depends on two factors يلي هي قديش hormones is released in the blood، كمان how many receptors does the target organ has for a hormone. Testicles يلي هي sexual gland أو gonad, they release testosterone to control the female secondary sexual characteristics. This is a false statement لأنه females do not have testicles. Testicles release testosterone to control the male's secondary characteristics. Okay, this is how we correct the question. Let's move to question number 2. The thyroid gland. They're saying that the thyroid gland plays an important role in the endocrine system. It produces thyroid hormones like T3 and T4, which are important for regulating metabolism, growth, and for the overall energy balance in the body. The production of thyroid hormones is regulated through a feedback mechanism. This mechanism involves the hypothalamus وكمان the pituitary gland. فالhypothalamus أول شيء secretes thyroid releasing hormone. هيدا أول هرمون. This signals the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland بعدين releases the thyroid stimulating hormone. Then the thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates the thyroid gland to produce and release T3 and T4. Look, so here we have the hypothalamus on the top. This hypothalamus releases TRH. The TRH stimulates the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland sends TSH على الثيرويد gland. Then the thyroid gland releases T3 and T4. Okay? So even if the thyroid function is functioning well, it still need the signals. It still needs the order. بدها أمر من الهايبوثالاموس ومن البيتويتري gland لحتى تشتغل. Okay? The thyroid gland relies on iodine for the synthesis of its hormone. Iodine, it's a mineral. It's an essential element. It can be obtained through dietary sources مثل الفيش, seaweed, and dairy products. A balanced diet provides around 100 micrograms of iodine daily. Important for healthy thyroid function. هذا healthy thyroid function. لما بيكون في unhealthy أو abnormal thyroid function يعني the production of T3 and T4 is imbalanced بصير في عندي two major disorders. hyperthyroidism لما بيكون في عندي excess thyroid hormones وhypothyroidism لما بيكون not enough thyroid hormones. أول شيء هلا I will read them in a few. Pick out the function of the thyroxine hormones. Let's go up. What did they tell us about T3 and T4? They said that these hormones are important for metabolism, growth, and overall energy balance of the body. Pick out يعني you have the answer in front of you. All you need to do is to look for it and to copy it. So T3 and T4 are important for regulating metabolism, growth, and energy balance to the body. Indicate how different body structures stimulate the hormones production. يلا نجي لهون. The production and release of T3 and T4. How is it stimulated? How does it happen? This production هي is regulated through a feedback mechanism. أول شيء الهايبوثالاموس needs to release TRH. بعدين ال TRH بيوصل على pituitary gland. هي بتبعت TSH which stimulates the thyroid to release T3 and T4. كمان we picked out the mechanism from the text. So the production of T3 and T4 the production of these hormones is regulated through a feedback mechanism. What about this feedback mechanism? أول شيء the hypothalamus secretes TRH which signals the pituitary gland to release TSH which stimulates the thyroid gland to produce and release T3 and T4. Okay? Pick out the mineral essential for the synthesis of T3 and T4 وقد ايه بدنا من هيدا المينرال each day. So iodine, so 10 micrograms of iodine is recommended in food daily intake. اوكي سو هن بالتكست I'm still picking out the answers من التكست انه شو هو المينرال الضروري for the production of T3 and T4. It's iodine. قد ايه بدنا منه 100 micrograms per day. Compare the symptoms of hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism in a table. Okay, I'll draw the table هون تحت hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism. So we will need a table comparing both of them. أول شي عندي hyperthyroidism, and then I have hypothyroidism. Let's start with the cause of both. أول شيء hyperthyroidism occurs when there is excess of thyroid hormone, while hypothyroidism happens when there is an insufficient secretion of thyroid hormones. Okay? Hyperthyroidism cause symptoms like increased body temperature. هون بيكون في عندي increased body temperature لأنه T3 و T4 بيعلوا الميتابوليزم. بس بالعكس hypothyroidism it includes low body temperature. أوكي؟ بhyperthyroidism rapid heartbeat occurs لأنه metabolism is high وبدنا more nutrients and oxygen بعكس الهايبوثايرودism where the metabolism is low and slow heartbeat. Okay, since metabolism is high بhyperthyroidism حيصير في عندي weight loss. بس since the metabolism rate is low بhypothyroidism حيصير في عندي weight gain. Diarrhea is a symptom for hyperthyroidism. Constipation is a symptom for hypothyroidism. وكمان feelings of depression are observed in case of hypothyroidism. Okay? Okay. So أكيد we still need to add a title for it. أول شي let me take it down. It's right here. So title a table comparing the symptoms of hyper and hypothyroidism. Okay. So question number 2 كله إنه it's about the text and picking out info from the text. Question number 3 glycemia. لا هون they did different experiments ونحن analyze and conclude out of the experiments. So glycemia is the normal concentration of glucose in the blood, which is around 1 gram per liter. To understand the endocrine function of the pancreas, for us to understand how the pancreas functions, the following experiments were done on rats. So هي مبين the objective of the experiment is to understand the endocrine function of the pancreas. عم بقول لي refer to experiment 1 to deduce the role of the pancreas. So we have to justify then to deduce. What did we do in experiment 1? In experiment 1, we removed the pancreas. So what happened? Hyperglycemia occurred. Okay, so let's start by justifying. The best way to justify is to analyze. So hyperglycemia occurred when? After ablation of the pancreas. So what's the job of the pancreas? It was the one decreasing the amount of glucose in the blood. Okay, or controlling, regulating the amount of glucose in the blood, which is glycemia. We deduce that the pancreas is responsible for the regulation for controlling the pattern of glycemia. Okay, yeah, we deduce that. قبل منا we justified. Interpret experiment 2. So in experiment 2 we removed also the pancreas بس رجعنا عملنا له graft بس وين in the neck. So right here the variable factor is the placement of the pancreas. The pancreas هو مفروض يكون um, in the abdomen. So the ablation of the pancreas followed by grafting it in the neck led to normal glycemia. رجع الوضع طبيعي مع انه نحن ما رجعنا we didn't transplant the pancreas into its original place يعني into the abdomen. No, we grafted it in the neck, we changed its place, however it worked. So this indicates that since it's interpretation, okay? Interpret يعني we have to put this indicates that. This indicates that the pancreas functions anywhere in the body as long as it is connected to blood vessels. ونحن عملنا له grafting. Okay, so رجعناه. We connected it back to blood vessels. It worked normally. So it doesn't matter where the pancreas is in the body. However, it must be connected to the blood for it to function normally. Okay? Show that the pancreas acts by releasing hormones. Here is كلمة hormone. So we will go to question number to experiment number 3. What did we do in experiment number 3? So we removed the pancreas, the ablation of the pancreas. بعدين شو? We injected pancreatic hormone. كمان these hormones they restored normal glycemia. رجع الوضع طبيعي مع انه ما رجعنا البنكرياس بس عملنا injection للهرمون. So الهرمونز للبنكرياس كانوا enough to fix the problem. Okay? So the ablation of the pancreas followed by regular injections of the pancreatic hormone led to كمان normal glycemia. It's a show that question, so we have to take this statement as the last statement in our answer. So therefore, the pancreas acts by releasing hormone. Okay? So in experiment 2 نحن we removed the pancreas ورجعنا عملنا له grafting. Okay? رجع اشتغل طبيعي when we connected the pancreas to the blood vessels. بإكسبيرمنت 3 no ما عملنا له grafting. So the individual under study is without a pancreas. However عملنا injection of hormones. Hormones كانوا enough إنه هن يرجعوا لي يفix the problems يعني. Refer to your acquired knowledge. Specify whether the pancreas is endocrine أو mixed glands. طيب the pancreas acts by releasing hormones. When? Into the blood. So the pancreas, the results show that the pancreas has an endocrine function since it releases hormones into the blood to regulate glycemia. بس in addition نحن we know based on our acquired knowledge the pancreas releases pancreatic juice into the small intestine وهدول البنكرياتيك juice they reach the small intestine using special ducts في عندهم their own pathway they are not released into the blood okay it's a specified question يا جماعة so we have to start with the answer فنحن حنقول هون لأنه عنده endocrine و exocrine the pancreas is a mixed gland since the results show the pancreas has an endocrine function هذه function number one okay and the pancreas has an exocrine function كمان since it releases هيها exocrine function okay the pancreas is a mixed gland why because the results of the experiments أكيد of the above experiments you can justify the way you want show that the pancreas has an endocrine function since it releases hormones into the blood. كمان نحن بنعرف this is based on our acquired knowledge the pancreas has an exocrine function لأنه it releases pancreatic juice into the small intestine أكيد to help in food digestion يعني you know that okay so this is the worksheet if you still have any questions please feel free to ask and thank you for watching